Hi, my name is Cold Beer, and let's start with Avowed.
This game is basically a lighter and simplified version of Elder Scrolls. No rotten dead bodies, no creepy experiments, no sex scenes, and somehow a lot of male characters look a bit feminine? Don't let that discourage you. For example, I really enjoyed Avowed, and let me tell you why. The exploration part was really rewarding, and that is one of the main things that makes any open world game enjoyable. You know, if you make an open world with nothing in it, just for the sake of it being open, it will feel empty and dull, but Avowed is not like that. Going away off a beaten path always feels like an adventure, often a deadly one. Another thing I liked very much, and I think it's the main selling point of the game, it's the fights, especially boss battles. They are as dynamic as they can get, and some are hard enough to make you reload a few times, especially if you rush and arrive underleveled. Which will you do, because while collecting some flowers for an NPC, you will find some entrance into the cave and you will be like,
"Oh, what is that? I must check that out."
And after half an hour you will find yourself fighting a giant jumpy spider boss. The biggest flaw of the game, in my opinion, are the cities. They feel dead and empty. Like in every Elder Scrolls game, the towns and cities are the place you want to be, to chat and barter with NPCs, and in Avowed, you just want to get out to the wilds and slay. Dread Delusion. This is as indie as it can get, and it has around 90% positive reviews on Steam, so don't let the graphics engine scare you. The game is inspired by classic RPGs of the beginning of this millennium, except with nowadays technology, this game can actually contain everything players ever wanted these games to have. Truly open world, fluid combat, and so on. So here you will uncover a rich interactive narrative through the game's quests, or you can pick any direction and explore by yourself, carve your own path, and probably die horribly. Doesn't matter, the game allows that, and this is awesome. You can slay the evil out in the wilds or go to towns. They offer a needed respite for you to sleep through the night, trade goods, accept quests, and speak with the locals. You will build your character to face challenges the way you want. And there is always an alternative to combat. Charm NPCs, pick locks, harness forbidden knowledge, and so on. What I see as the biggest flaw of this game is... I don't know how to say, but you will understand. Fluid graphics. Everything is shimmering and rippling, and I hate that. The good thing is that after some playtime, you will stop noticing that. The brain just adapts, so don't worry about that. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Let me start with the fact that this is an incredible game truly inspired by the Elder Scrolls franchise and especially Morrowind. I played it as a mage and I really enjoyed it. The spells I casted looked and felt really good. That's because developers added a few tricks that make you actually feel the impact of your spells. Time slightly slows and the sound effect is awesome as well. Also, for any new player, I would recommend playing as a summoner. You'll find some items that will let you summon skeletons and other creatures. Just use them and improve your summoning skills. When I played it for the first time, I didn't realize that I can have like 3 skeletons at the same time. And boy oh boy, after I found this trick, that changed my power level unimaginably. Although I made a hero that was a glass cannon. In other words, if anyone even slightly touched me, even with a tip of a dick, I died. But I don't know, I have liked this type of build since my ancient days playing World of Warcraft, where as a sneaky glass cannon warlock I had so much fun in the battlegrounds. Keep in mind that The Fall of Avalon is not AAA kind of game, so the visuals may not invoke your admiration all the time. And although the developers are calling The Fall of Avalon an indie project, it's actually AA+ kind of game. The devs are rich and they pour a good amount of money into The Fall of Avalon, so I can assure you that this is the next best thing after the Elder Scrolls. But keep in mind that the game is really grim. The narrative is dark, the world is creepy, way creepier than the creepiest places of Elder Scrolls. Don't buy it for your 12-year-old son or daughter if you want them to, develop normally. Play it yourself. It's absolutely 10 cold beers out of 10. It's awesome. Hogwarts Legacy. I had a lot of fun playing this game, although I bought it with the idea of playing it a bit, making a review to my channel and forgetting about it. Well, turns have tabled while I played it. It was so much fun to explore the land and meet various characters, I refused to convert it into a job. So I just played the game for my own pleasure and completely skipped it on my channel. All in all, Hogwarts Legacy was one of the few games that actually survived the hype train and never crashed anywhere. The game has above 90% of positive reviews on Steam, and I would give the game 10 cold beers out of 10 without much thinking. The world is very detailed, quests are handcrafted and fun, magic truly feels like magic, and the world is really open. Although the map is shaped like a bow, very narrow and long. But that's maybe a thing of a lore. I don't know, I have never read the books, only seen the movies. Only thing that actually spoiled the game a bit was how soon I got the ability to fly. That absolutely crashed the exploration on footpath. Flying in Hogwarts is awesome, but I would have given this ability way later in the game. The variety of enemies also could be wider, but hey, it's a great game, you have all my recommendations. The Outer Worlds 2. I liked the first part very much, so I bought the second one as well. And it feels like a true sequel, but with a bigger and more expansive world. That gives you more places to explore and roam around, but also a bit dilutes the gameplay. You know, they made a bigger game, but now it also feels a bit emptier, especially when you walk around the map. Still, you can find cool hidden secrets if you go off the beaten path, and that is always a nice thing. The first game was often called Fallout in space, but the second part had shaken off that feeling and definitely plays more like its own thing now. The Outer Worlds 2 also has a nice dark humor. That is basically the main thing of the game, but it can feel a bit tiresome. You know, humor is nice when you have like 20% of it and the rest 80% is serious stuff. This formula was implemented in many legendary movies, like The Fifth Element, Indiana Jones, Pulp Fiction, and many others. And speaking about the games, Fallout itself follows this joke ratio religiously. The problem with the Outer Worlds is that it's 80% humor and 20% serious stuff. So after a while you get numbed by the jokes and they just don't sound very funny anymore. Like, they are funny, but your brain just ignores them. Despite that, it's a fun game to play, fun to explore, and the most important thing, it's fun to swing various weapons and blast some heads with huge guns. And the quests and story are intriguing as well. Basically, the game really scratches that open world RPG itch. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I really do recommend playing the first part before diving into the second one. Not because you won't understand what is happening, but because the first part is way cheaper, and it is actually a very good game that will introduce you to the characters and the world of this franchise. Anyway, if you don't care about that, or have already played it, you can jump straight into the second one. The game will explain everything, you don't need to worry about that. So here, like in the Witcher series, you won't be able to create your own character, but we'll have to dive into the story as Henry, a dude who went on a quest to avenge his murdered parents and from a simple working class man became an experienced warrior. So in the second part you will shape Henry's destiny further. Go from bustling city streets to lush forest and feel the clash of steel as you slay your enemies left and right. Well, that won't be easy. The game makes you actually use your motoric skills if you want to actually slay anything and not be slain like a filthy pineapple in potato salad loving simpleton. Anyway, medieval Europe awaits you here, with all its beauty, glory and horror. No dragons, no elves, only brutal reality of the days long gone. The Bloodline. This is an open-world fantasy action RPG where you will take on a role of a descendant of a magical lineage. You are gifted the power of foresight by an ancient god to protect the world from evil. Here the adventure is yours. You will follow quest lines to help the people or roam the world freely at your own pace, allowing organic opportunities or organic deaths to arise. You will reform bonds between kingdoms, construct a village and prepare the world for the return of evil stuff. Just like in the Elder Scrolls games, here you will explore the world, join various guilds, hunt magical creatures, or become a bard at the local tavern. The game doesn't hold your hand or penis, you can enjoy and experience it in any way you desire. Blacktail. Here the choice is yours. Will you become the guardian of the woods or the terror nightmares are made of? You play as Yaga, a 16-year-old girl accused of witchcraft and expelled from a medieval settlement. Well, I know what I would be doing after that. Definitely not helping poor folk from the aforementioned village to heal their sick cattle. No, I would rather secretly put pineapple in their potato salad. Also, would turn all their delicious beer into milk.
Milk of a cat.
Yeah, milk of a cat or of a hamster. Anyway, he will decide the fate of the land and its inhabitants, and witness the impact of your decisions on your skills through an implemented morality system. People on Steam are saying that the game feels more mature than the visuals it provides, and the story is really dark and captivating. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. The game was released in 2012, but almost 10 years later it was remastered and sold, you know the drill, as a new game with a price of a new game. Everyone was raging and giving the game bad reviews, but now it's not a problem anymore. On various sales you can get it with a 70% or even bigger discount. The game itself was designed by the Elder Scrolls Oblivion lead designer Ken Rolston and set in a world with a lore of 10,000 years of fiction created by New York Times bestselling author Robert Salvatore. So this is a huge open world game where you will uncover the secrets of Amalur, from the vibrant cities to the vast regions and grim dungeons. You will have to rescue a world torn apart by a vicious war and control the keys to immortality as the first warrior ever to be resurrected from the grips of death. I must say that even on a remastered version, the age of the game shows itself. It doesn't matter much, but just keep in mind that this is an old game with a new shiny armor. Immortals: Fenyx Rising. Because it was an Epic Store exclusive, it has various issues, from missing content to controller problems, and of course it needs you to have an Ubisoft account as well. But in general, this is an amazing title. I bought this game for a full price on the release day, and I can proudly say that this is probably the best game I have played in the year of 2020s. I was expecting nothing from it. It looks childish and colorful, and I don't like any of that. You know, I'm 40 years old, you can't buy me with colors. But I started to feel that something is a sus with my prejudice when I heard the first joke, which was really good, but I'm not gonna spoil it to you. And later I started to realize that the whole game is filled with jokes that I find funny, even in the character creation menu. Fun thing is that during the whole game, gods Zeus and Prometheus are talking in the background about you in the past tense, like everything you do has already happened. You know, when they say,
"And then he saw a terrible monster."
you can be sure that you will see a terrible monster in a second, because it's your story that has already happened, but you don't know how yet, only gods know. In other words, you have to live the story gods are talking about. So let's hope that they don't say anything like,
"And then he put some pineapples into his potato salad."
No. This is not a horror game, so let's hope they will not say that. Although avoid this game if you don't like puzzles. Fenyx Rising is filled with them, but if you liked solving puzzles in Skyrim, for example, you will feel right at home here as well. Fallout 4. Here you can play from first or third person perspective. You can take items that lie around and roam across a big open world in search of adventure, absolutely ignoring the main quest and story. So basically it evokes, at least for me it did, the same feeling of freedom and exploration as the Elder Scrolls games. The main difference of course is the setting. Fallout 4 is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi game. It's filled with mutants and creepy facilities to explore. You can also join various factions, and that will immensely influence the outcome of the story. Sadly, they don't have a potato salad faction you could join. That is a shame. The game, along with the third Fallout game, has only one really annoying feature. In both cases I finished the game thinking that I have like 10 or more hours of gameplay left, and it ended absolutely unexpectedly and way too fast. So if you decide to play Fallout 4, keep that in mind. Roam around, do some side quests, do not rush the story. All three games, I mean third Fallout, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 are great games. You have all my recommendations. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. If you have seen the movies, you know the setting. Blue, tall humans who can control animals are fighting shorter, normal-colored humans who can control robots. Blue humans are officially the good guys, because their planet was invaded by, well, by us. So I'm definitely not rooting for the blue guys. I want my own to succeed and enslave this pathetic planet in the name of humanity. Sadly, he will have to take control of a dabba-dee dude and drive invaders out of your forest. You can customize your character, craft new gear and upgrade skills and weapons to fit your playstyle. You'll also have some pterodactyl friend you can ride. That is very cool and gives vertical freedom, just like in Hogwarts Legacy game. You can play the campaign solo or bond online with your mother-in-law and co-op the story together. People are saying that the game is very beautiful, but it's challenging, so if you are not some pro, play on easy. Also, if you are not a fan of Avatar, you may find the writing on the weaker side. Despite that, it's a great game to get on sale. Outward Definitive Edition. This is an open-world survival game with Souls-like combat mechanics. In this edition you will find both DLCs, new weapons, dungeons and also several life quality improvements. The game has only a mostly positive review score on Steam, but it doesn't do the justice. Most people who are giving a dislike spend 40 to 60 hours in-game, and that honestly looks like some kind of masochism. If you don't like the game, just don't play it. Like Warren Buffett once said, always take the easy road and you will get there first. Anyway, Outward is like Skyrim and Dark Souls had a weird hybrid baby, and instead of abortion, this time they decided to keep it. If you like both games, why not? Outward has some problems, but in general it is a nice game. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is probably the best fantasy open-world RPG ever created, and I doubt that I could find anyone who at least never heard of it. Well, at least inside the Western influence hemisphere, it's a true legend. On Steam it has more than 600,000 reviews, and 96% of these people recommend this game for you. And I don't know who are the 4% who didn't like the game. I scrolled for like 5 minutes through hundreds of reviews and failed to find any explaining why. Although I finally found one. Dude said that he doesn't like developers anymore after the flop of Cyberpunk 2077, which is honestly a good game by now, and that's why he gave a negative review for Witcher 3. That is not serious. And my friendship with Witcher Geralt started way before any of the games were released. I read the book when I was a teenager, and after many years I even got Andrzej Sapkowski to sign it for me when he was visiting Lithuania for some book fair or something. And we also spoke for like 20 seconds as well. Never washed my mouth in years after that. Anyway, the game has an incredible story, super fun gameplay and a huge dark fantasy open world to explore. The coolest thing is, of course, your profession. You kill monsters for money, so you can just travel around the map and fulfill contracts ignoring the main story as long as you want or as long as you can get a new contract. And every single monster hunt is a handcrafted mission with different outcomes and sometimes hard moral choices. Third Witcher is probably the best game I have ever played. Ardenfall. Well, this is a pro bono entry because the game is not released yet. It is scheduled to be released sometime this year, but I played the playtest and I can assure you that this is an incredible indie game with all the best features found in Elder Scrolls games. To be honest, I'm definitely not a fan of these polygon graphics, but the moment I started to play the game, I realized that I was completely fine with them. Would I want the next Elder Scrolls game to look like this? Absolutely no, but indie developers have way more wiggle room to not anger the crowd. If you take your time and go off beaten road, there is a huge chance that you will stumble on some hidden treasure, stronger monster with great loot, or just cool views from above. The game has various mechanics that allow you to climb high, like special places giving you jumping power, magic air bubbles that take you to the Sky Islands, and so on, and the feeling of finding such places is very rewarding and fun. So put the game into your wishlist, this may be a true gem. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. As people say, this game is a mix of Batman, Assassin's Creed, The Witcher and Tetris. Why Tetris, you ask? As I always say, in this game, just like in Tetris, enemies will come at you in all shapes and sizes at different speeds and you will have to make them disappear if you want to survive. See, Middle-earth is just like Tetris. Deal with it. Here the visuals and the world captures the essence of Middle-earth absolutely perfectly. You know, in the same way like potato salad captures your taste buds. Just like that. If you are a fan of Tolkien's world, this game will make you an addict. This is a real orc killing simulator after all. The story is also nice to say the least, and combat is very satisfying. You will feel as a bit overpowered combat god, but that won't affect the gameplay itself. You will always get some really hard adversaries to test the strength of your mental balls. Don't be shy, have them big and hairy so your enemies would die from fear alone. Elden Ring. I bought the game just because I thought that it was similar to Skyrim, and I wasn't disappointed. The vast open world filled with mysteries for you to explore, interesting original enemies, NPCs, caves and dungeons filled with secrets put a spell on me immediately. The only thing is that if you are not a hardcore player, sooner or later you either give up or actually learn to play. The game is balanced for those who like Souls-like games, but it is possible to play for people without masochistic tendencies as well. The game is a bit easier than Dark Souls, but just keep in mind that despite that, it is really challenging and you will be dying all the time. Although this time it's an open world and you can go wherever you want. And the game doesn't hold your hand or penis, so you are free to go and explore various places. You may ask, how to know where to go then? Well, you will know, believe me. If you put your nose in the wrong area, you will die a little bit quicker than in other places. Anyway, the world is beautiful, enemies are really original, and you may not have a lot of fun here, but the atmosphere of the game will forever stay with you. Elden Ring is not something you can easily forget about. Oblivion Remastered. Well, it's the most obvious thing to play if you like Skyrim or in general any open world RPG games, although keep in mind that this is an old game, just with a new beautiful face, a thing most of us will never have. To be honest, I would be very happy if they had actually redone all the ruins and caves to be, you know, more modern, instead of doing a faithful remaster. Now, even if they are shiny and beautiful, the copy-paste feeling walking from one A-lead ruin to another is overwhelming. Devs explained that they wanted to keep the original feeling. I do not agree with this, but despite that, the game somehow works just fine. I played the original 2 times, one when it was initially released and once again when DLC showed up. And with the remastered version, I ignored the main quest, because honestly it is very repetitive, and did the Mages Guild, the Dark Brotherhood storyline, and Shivering Isles questline, and I already have more than 60 hours of gameplay, and I can't say that I was bored even once. Well, I am a fan. For me this game is absolutely 10 cold beers out of 10, but I don't know how all of this would feel for a newcomer. But I can assure you that if you liked Skyrim, Oblivion Remastered is just more of the same. Not as modern gameplay wise, but definitely will scratch the itch you have. Dragon Age Inquisition. Let's start with the fact that it wasn't completely oriented to the fans of the Dragon Age franchise and tried to be appealing to a wider audience. That they definitely achieved. Me and my wife, we played the game and liked it. It was our first experience in the world of Dragon Age and we had tons of fun. My wife even completed it twice. The game was designed to be played using a pause function, but I can't remember ever doing that. I played it in real time all the time and I had fun. Maybe on some boss I pre-planned some moves, but that was about it. It's definitely not a game for a hardcore Dungeons & Dragons fans, more like a nice fantasy title for the masses. It is beautiful, has a nice story, and you can own a castle. In my opinion, 8 cold beers out of 10. Definitely a better game than the Veil God, which by the way has amazing combat, so fluid, so good, the best in the franchise, but also super lame everything else, and because of that probably killed the series as well. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Here you'll put on the shoes of a legendary Viking warrior on a quest of glory. Explore England's dark ages as you raid your enemies, grow your settlement and build your political power. Yeah, this is one of the most innovative Assassin's Creed games, and the Nordic theme of Vikings is what fans of the franchise always wanted, although it is far from the top predators of the genre, such as Title or Third Witcher or even Skyrim by the quality of story and characters. Also, no boobs for you here. Viking game without boobs. What is this blasphemy? Anyway, it is still a nice title, but wait for a sale. The price discount may be around 70%.
And now, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and, you know, subscribe or something. Bye.
Hello.